make throwing trash away a little more fun. I'm throwing cigarette butts in there too, somebody is. These little gizmos are potted around town. Just to orientate where I am, I started at the middle of the bottom of the box to the left and migrated right up through here to number 11, which is the museum. And I've just come out the back, which I'm not sure where the back is, but I think it may be in this right-hand lower corner of that icon where the 11 is. So the dotted line comes in right there. The museum is to my rear. Here a shrine that we'll take a look at, and then I'll roam throughout this park. And I think there's a zoo here off to the left, I'm guessing. No easy way to video this other than just to sweep back and forth. A bezel perhaps composed of ceramic pieces from broken plates.
Sorry? No, that's not it.
Over there's the museum, and there's the shrine that we were at. Now I'm just going to wander to the right here and then circle back to what I believe is the zoo behind me. And here we'll take a look at this. So I think I got my ticket down to lower left where it says 1, and I've gone to where that star is, and now I'm turning right, wandering as far as I can go, and then to wherever the entrance to the zoo is. Symbolic lotus blossom. Over here we have a butterfly area. Now this whole complex, the zoo, the historical museum, that shrine, are all ensconced in the botanical gardens that we're now wandering through. That's the butterfly enclosure. There are some butterflies in it, but it's not open. Whether it's maintained at all as a butterfly farm, I don't know. It's overcast, but it's a hot, sweat, muggy day today. A little bit of breeze in the air. Some what we would normally think of as bonsai. Although the guide tried to explain that in Vietnam, the bonsai includes also very large trees, whereas this is more the Japanese model, this or even smaller ones, I think, that we're used to. And an interesting one, looks like it's bearing fruit or flowers. This is a pretty flower, but I sometimes find it interesting because in some views, like this flower here, it almost reminds me of the cobra snake. This is, presumably this garden was created 1864. It's a good thing the Khmer Rouge wasn't here. They'd have torn it down and turned it into farms. I wonder if these pretty flowers are orchids, and if this is an orchid building. May just be a place for propagating plants. It seems strange to me for some reason to find large cacti, as well as the small barrel cactuses here. Now notice that these flamingos lack much of the pink color. They have a little bit in their legs and a bit on their tail, and that may be because they lack that shrimp brine intensity of Chile's salt lake flats area. En route from Battambang to Siem Reap, there were many little ponds, for lack of a better term, near each of the houses alongside the road. But some of them were filled with a few of these beautiful flowers. I don't think that they were as big as these are. This is a pond, and in the center of the pond is apparently a enclosure for monkeys. I see a few in there and lots of ropes to have fun on. Apparently these monkeys, unlike the macaws, don't like water, or they'd be gone. And here's a little bird that is just a few feet from me. Apparently caught up in this zoo thing and people thing. Can't for sure figure out what his enterprise is, but I'm guessing he's eating seeds off those grass stalks. Looks like it. This is a simple little cage set out in the middle of the lawn. It has a couple of interesting little creatures in it. One's eyeing me as it roosts and tries to stay cool. So this begins a trek, I think, along where the birds and so forth are. That's wrong again. So now from this naga, I'm going to work my way around to about where I bought the ticket, I think, which takes care of that corner opposite the History Museum. It's called the smooth otter. A couple of them playing together. How you guys doing? How you doing? This is a common palm. Whatever it is, there's actually several of them. There are 3 of them there. Can't tell whether they're cats. They're kind of badger-like. No, they're more like a raccoon. Kind of pheasant, Indian peacock. This is the common pheasant, purple swamp hen. This is the silver pheasant. Dramatic black and white, that one will turn around. Common barnyard chicken. pretty green pheasant, peacocks and on display. They mixed all these birds up, I think, quite a bit. This is the Indian peacock. Notice how much smaller its spread is. I think he's leading that one astray. The displays are not as dramatic as the Bangkok Zoo, but they're much more well kept. The animals seem more prolific and in better condition, and the grounds are in better condition, but that may be a product of the dry season in Bangkok. Here's a white rhino. Wouldn't he love to get a running shot at me outside these wired electrical fences? Just noticed something I thought was interesting in this pond, and that is a dead leaf that has its own beauty. In this Stonehenge-like enclosure is a bear. I don't think it's our black bear. And the reason I don't think so is because of the white fur on the paws. I wonder if this posture is a way of defending against the heat. They don't seem to be keeping much water in here for it or its partner, but the enclosure is interesting. So they don't want them to climb. And if you ever want a root beer, this is it. It's called Sarsi. Here's some interestingly camouflaged water closets. This perhaps pronounced Gar. Interesting beast. Don't think I've ever seen one before. A huge body for a small head. Looks like its territory is Vietnam, Nepal, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, and Malaysia. Covered with flies, which is probably his plight all of his life. I think he's standing under these long vines because they rub against his body and right where his head is to keep the flies away a bit. They're a little bit different flower. They're a gorilla. God, he looks like an old man just kind of contemplating things. Rubbing the sweat away from his eyes, I think. It's interesting, isn't it, that we give our criminals a more enjoyable, interesting, protected life than we do animals. I'm not sure what you could do to make things more interesting for these guys, but it's interesting that the huge cat would choose to live even, or to lie even partially in the sun when it could be over here in the shade. At least it has a mate, so not alone. Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Myanmar. Sure is a gorgeous animal, isn't it? I can't tell if that's the lion or not. Or tiger, I mean. It's interesting how they change the names. I think that M-I-A-N-M-A is Myanmar. Or Myanmar. There's the cat looking at me. Oh, so scrawny. You wouldn't like me. Trust me, it wouldn't be any good. No. This, if we get to see him, is the yellow-cheeked gibbon who lucked out and got this absolutely amazing little enclosure with a giant tree up there that you can climb up into, plus ropes. Looks like there's even water dribbling down from the top of that little false mountain. It's an interesting design, isn't it? Yeah, it does have water dripping down its mountain, running down the face of its mountain. That's pretty cool little creature. Here's the yellow cheeky guy. Yeah, show off. Like a fair number of rats around here. They eat them in the outside the city, but inside the city they don't eat them. It has a burrow right there. Bears have moved over to each other.
Cá sấu nước ngọt, cá sấu này bự ha ha. Con gì? Con Tây Giác là chưa có thịt bán ở Sài Gòn, của chúng ta con này ăn quá hết rồi. Có nhiều ăn hết rồi. Yeah.
Look like alligators, or else that other, can't remember what the other name is for something like this, but they must not be that hungry. There's a fish line at the bottom of the water. There's some more little alligator types. We've got lots of them around here, and they're a little bit hungry at least. Double wattled cassowary. Oh, there they are. Imagine when the birds were 2 or 3 times as large as these. This is a small Indian civet, which is that little creature that looks like kind of like a raccoon. The black giant squirrel. They make them out behind that screen. Salmon crested cockatoo out. Probably not, it's probably blurred. And this one up here, which again probably can't even see through this mesh. You can barely see it here. Scarlet macaw. Here, one of those huge trees that we saw at the Thailand temples that were planted a couple of centuries ago. It'd be cute if they redo it. There are a bunch of them up on a nest that they've built. I think these were the wild horses I saw in Poland. I don't know if I've seen one of these before, but this is apparently a pygmy hippopotamus. Here's a regular size. This water looks nice and clean. Here, for whatever the reason, a ton of goats. Whether they're used for food or not, I don't know. Whether they represent different species or not, I don't know. Whether kids can go in and play with them or not, I don't know. There used to be a pond over there, but not now. He has learned to put his hand out and beg. You look at his face, it just seems like he's thinking about something, different things, contemplating things, observing things. It seems different than some animals. I wonder if that's a precursor of man, a trait of primates, even though we don't choose to recognize it as such. They designed this out of cement to look like an elephant corral. Kind of clever approach. The elephant's still chained. Does he look totally bored out of his tree? I wonder if he's aware of the fact that he doesn't have tusks anymore. And perhaps he's the male, and perhaps there's our female, and that's why he's got a barricade and chains. It's Tuesday, of course, and maybe that's reason enough why there aren't very many people here, but it's nice and quiet and very park-like. Beautiful big trees, lots of greenery, plenty of places to get something to drink. This is novel. It's a motorbike or scooter with trainer wheels. They're pretty heavy duty trainer wheels. I mean, that's a heavy duty shock system. That's intentional, whatever its function, whoever it's for.